Hi there, welcome to Homekeepers. Hey, come right on in, friends. So nice to be here with you. And I always like to just give a shout out to the special people who watch us regularly and let you know how much you mean to us, and also those brand new viewers. I'm just positive that there's people watching today who've never known anything about Homekeepers before, but you were channel surfing, and here we are. So just stay with us. You're going to find this to be such an interesting program because I have a return guest, and I must say one of my favorites, and that's Mr. Jesse Alfonso, who told us his story of battling cancer, and I mean a very advanced cancer, a young man, and the role that he believes CellQuest took in his recovery. I went down to our control room yesterday just to look at that interview again, and I'm telling you, it just about gave me goosebumps. It was just such an exciting story, and that he has rebounded so well. And when you see him, the absolute picture of health. And so I'm thankful to be able to revisit these things and see how these folks are doing. If you're a regular viewer of Homekeepers, you know that we have offered the product CellQuest for many years and have had some very dramatic testimonies to give you concerning the product. I came across it when my own daughter was diagnosed with cancer, and I began looking for things that could help. And this was one of the first ones that was brought to my attention. And since that time, we have brought guests to you that were really, I'm very careful when I use the word amazing because I think it's so overused, but these were amazing testimonies. So I'm glad to have Jesse back, and we'll get an update on his life. And I'm going to join Stephanie, and we're going to fix an asparagus spinach pasta salad. In these days of skyrocketing food products, it's good to have a library of pasta recipes that can maybe lower that food bill a little bit. Before I join her, though, I again want to let you know that we offer an initial offering of CellQuest. And if you contact Homekeepers, we can send you 3 bottles. These are 16 ounces each of the product for $39.95, and that includes the shipping and handling, which is no small thing, especially this is liquid, so it's a bit heavy. You can order it by calling 1-800-229-0059 or write to us at Homekeepers, Box 6922, Clearwater, Florida, 33758, and we will get the product out to you. Take note of that information, but I want you to hear Jesse before you do.
Oh,
so,
no.
Oh, my goodness.
Happy birthday
to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Steph.
Thank you.
Steffi. That is a beautiful
That
cake.
is. It's the anniversary of my 29th birthday.
Yes, and that is so sweet. That's this crew here who they're
That
always
was
hiding
so
behind
sweet.
cameras, but they are
Thank
wonderful
you.
people. And of course, we knew it was her birthday because she tells it going in and coming out, going in and coming out.
Another year alive. I'm happy.
Yes, well, that is very sweet and very pretty.
That's very nice. Thank you.
I think on a program we produced earlier, you celebrate for one full week.
One full, yes.
So this extends that a little bit.
I'm all for it. I might take my daughter-in-law's advice and just do the month.
All right, this is one we're real curious about.
I think it's going to be delicious.
Because we don't test them.
We haven't tried it. Nope.
But if it's not good, we'll say so.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
Okay, so we have asparagus. We cut up in 1-inch pieces, put a little olive oil and salt on, and baked it. That was it. And look how beautiful. It's gorgeous.
Yeah, this was a new experience for me. Susan did this for us, but asparagus is one of my very favorite vegetables, but I never dreamed of doing it this way, and it hangs on to the color.
Yeah, and it's
and
really
it's
good.
very crunchy. It was
I didn't even know if I liked asparagus till I just tried it.
Oh,
So.
okay. All right.
Okay, so you have spinach you're going to chop
I'm gonna
up.
chop it up a little bit.
And I have onions, and I have vinegar and soy sauce I'm going to put into the blender, and we're going to chop that up, and then I'm going to put some oil in.
We've had great debates about the dressing on this. So
Oh, I think it's going to be good.
she thinks it'll be good. Susan thinks it
Like a
might need a
Asian.
little sweetener.
I think it's going to be delicioso.
I just kind of rough cut this. Does it go right into the pasta?
Sure, yes.
Okay.
So let's do this. So talking about birthdays and age, you know, oh, I knew this was going to happen. Okay.
She's got her hand over it, so the whole
Well,
thing.
yeah, because we're going to put some oil in here.
I think they meant the regular type food processor, maybe.
Well, it says blender, so it's okay.
Oh, did it?
Yeah. So let me do this and then I'll talk. We're talking about age.
Yeah.
And today is like the coldest day in Florida this year. You know, we woke up, it was like 30 degrees. So I had my big, gigantic coat on.
Yes.
And I went down to Brooke, who's our young girl that works here, and I said, look, it's my Alexis Carrington coat. And she laughed, and I said, you don't even know who that is, do you? She said, no, I don't. I was like, okay, bye. I don't like you.
Needless to say, it had shoulder pads with shoulder pads.
Yeah, so it was pretty funny. So no, she didn't know who it was at all.
There you go.
Okay, thank you. Okay, you want to pour the asparagus in? This smells really good.
I am so glad to know how to do asparagus this way because I usually have asparagus in my house.
Well, this is perfect. Throw it in the oven. Throw some chicken breasts in on another thing and cook them up, and you have them shredded for something else.
Yep. These kind of dishes will really be kind to your grocery bill.
Yes. Let's just mix this up a little bit, and then I'll...
I can't wait to taste that.
I know you want to try it.
I'm almost scared. It's okay.
Well, I think it's going to be good. Once you put it down here and you chill it, I think it's going to be tasty.
Yeah, it really is. The soy sauce must redeem it somehow.
Yeah. We'll put a little bit on the plate, and then we'll put a little bit of cashew. We have chopped up cashews and Parmesan. I think it's great.
Oh, it looks good.
Yes.
Coming along.
It's going to be delicious. Okay.
You would say kind of Asian, maybe?
Yeah, with the soy sauce and the vinegar and the cashews. Okay.
Oh boy, that does look good.
Why are you laughing?
They don't believe us.
I'm a little, you know, have a little self-doubt going on up here, Brooke. What's happening?
Yeah.
Okay, a little cashew.
Would you say this is an Asian
Yes.
dish?
I think
Asian
it's-
pasta?
Go ahead.
I think I'll love it.
That's very good.
I took too big a bite.
Yeah. That is delicious. You put chicken in there, you have a whole meal.
Very,
That is tasty.
very different.
I like it. I'm
So,
gonna have to put it on my
will
Facebook
you tell
page.
them, because my mouth's full,
Yeah, you can
about
either
the email?
Yeah, you can email Arthelene. She'll send you the recipe. You can call if you don't have a computer. If you
Right,
do
if
have
you
a
don't have a
computer, or right, yeah, if you don't have a computer, or if you do have a computer, if you're on Facebook, you can go on my fan page. I'll put it up there.
Hey, how many fans do you have?
I'm up to 430.
Okay, we got to get that up to 500 right away. But if you haven't met Jessie, stay around. I think you're going to really appreciate this wonderful, wonderful testimony. Stay with us. That is.
If you would like a copy of today's recipe, just write to the address on your screen, or you can email your request to arthelene@rippy.org.
Jessie, welcome back.
Thanks for having
Been
me.
too long, yeah. Your story has really riveted our viewers too. I have replayed it a few times, and the way you described the whole situation was stunning. You know, you just really held our attention. How long ago was it that you were first diagnosed with cancer?
Well, it's been 13 years now. I was 20 years old. I had Hodgkin's lymphoma. It was stage 4B, so very advanced when I caught it. And like we talked about last time, took that product, CellQuest, together with chemotherapy. I'll be honest, I was scared not to do the chemo, the CellQuest on its own and not listen to the doctors and take the chemotherapy. So I feel as if, like we talked before, I did my own like little trial and error type, tests on the CellQuest because I wasn't sure if it was the chemotherapy giving me the great results, or was it the CellQuest, or was it a combination of the two?
Yeah, let me say this, that other guests we've had on took it with the chemo. We've never ever said, don't follow your doctor's advice. CellQuest is a powerful supplement that builds your cells and so forth. I want to go back to you're a 20-year-old kid and you're diagnosed with stage 4, was it Hodgkin's?
Hodgkin's lymphoma.
How did you know you had it? Because I know that boys that age, they don't go to the doctor.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, and
absolutely
so did you just get to feeling very weak and tired?
Yeah, it was a combination of all those things. Weak, tired, always exhausted. Started dropping a lot of weight, severe night sweats.
Now, those two things would have given me all kinds of red flags. Did your mother notice or anybody?
Right, yeah, I was dropping a lot of weight. My mom was like, listen, this isn't normal. And I'm thinking, well, I just have the flu or something, and, I'm all right. And I'm telling her, you'll see, we'll end up going to the doctor and everything's gonna be fine. And I ended up going to the doctor because my mom would not leave me alone. Did that, and I was there for about a week. I'm thinking I'm gonna go in and just check right out.
So they put you right in the hospital?
Oh yeah, and they started running all kinds of tests, and that's why I have this scar on my neck.
I see it.
They biopsied my lymph nodes were extremely swollen, so they biopsied one of my lymph nodes, and that's how they discovered I had Hodgkin's lymphoma.
You described, and I can only imagine because I have 2 children myself, when the diagnosis was given, that was the first time you saw your dad cry.
Yes, and that just tore me apart because he's a real strong man. I've never seen tears come out of that man's face. It's just
because you would be stage 3 or stage 4, very advanced.
Correct. Yeah, near terminal, and it was just the way that it was brought to my family broke my heart. It was kind of like pretty raw and direct. And
20 years old. That's just not fair, How did you know about CellQuest?
Well, through my brother-in-law, Eddie.
How did Eddie find out about it?
He worked for a pharmaceutical company way back in the day, and he had heard great things of CellQuest, and he brought it to my attention. And I believe the scientist behind it, the original scientist, his name was Juan Falcon, which I got to meet.
Really? He was from Cuba, wasn't he?
Yes, correct. And it was able to meet him, it was real nice to meet him. And I believe he saved his brother from cancer, and he was real happy to see me and glad that everything had worked out. And that's basically how it came about. Yeah,
it's my understanding that this was developed in Cuba more than 50 years ago.
Correct.
And it showed real promise with both humans and animals.
Correct.
That had cancer, and it was brought to the United States, and it hasn't had the privilege of the huge testing that they can do. That takes millions of dollars and so forth. But it did help some people, and I've had several on this show. And as you said, you decided to do both with the chemo. We don't ever tell people not to follow their doctor's advice. However, logic tells me that your cells, your blood system, needs supplementation while your body's bombarded with not only the disease but with the poison of the chemo.
Correct, because most people don't understand chemotherapy is going to not only help you eradicate the cancerous cells, but it's also going to damage your normal working cells, your normal cell division. So I believe this is where CellQuest is extremely important because it helps your body regenerate these good cells to help your body protect itself. So
let me remind you too that Homekeepers offers an initial offering of CellQuest, and that's available by calling 1-800-229-0059, and that's 3 bottles for $39.95 that can get you started. And after that, you can order CellQuest directly from the company. I understand it's made from the plantain, but not the fruit, but almost the tree itself.
Correct. Yeah, the stem. And one thing I really want to make clear, because I've had a lot of questions about it. They're like, man, wow, 3 bottles and I'm in the clear.
Yeah.
It's like, no, there's no such thing as that.
It's a process.
Offering. Yeah. Yeah. It's a process. So what I did personally during my whole chemotherapy session, which took about a year, I took a bottle a day. Mm-hmm. Now, that's if you have cancer, full-blown cancer, you're taking treatment. Now, if you can also take it if you don't have cancer as a preventative, mm-hmm.
which
I still do till today.
What do you take, about 4 ounces?
4 ounces a day. Mm-hmm. That's all I do. And if I have like a big race or something, I got into doing like half marathons, mm-hmm. and obstacle course races and stuff like that. I almost like preload with it because it's high in potassium. So it helps with anti-fatiguing, anti-muscle cramping.
Man, I praise God when I think, you're running half marathons.
Right, which I've never done before.
And look at him. He just looks great. That's a question. I'm glad you brought that up because we get that from a lot of the viewers. How much, and do you take this much? It's a wonderful supplement for your system. You can take 4 ounces a day for the rest of your life, and it will probably do you good. As you started taking this, did you take this and the chemo about the same time?
Yes.
You played some tricks on your doctors.
I did.
Because cancer in many ways is a numbers game. You go in for the checkup and they pull some blood and say, well, where are the numbers? So take it from there.
Right, yeah, they check your blood count, white blood cell, red blood cell count, just to make sure, your body is attempting to fight. And what I did was, at first, I started with a low dosage of the CellQuest, and right away started to see some good things. Took that into about 3-4 months, and towards the end of the 4th month, I got really good results. Basically, like cancer's non-existent.
Like the numbers were just
like ridiculous. The doctor was like, I can't believe the chemo's working so well. So I'm thinking, is he right? Is it the chemotherapy? And so I backed off the CellQuest, and then I took a turn for the worst. And right then and there, common sense is, wow, I was doing it, and I wasn't even taking all the way the full dose at first, and it was already working. And then I took myself off of it, and then my blood work took a turn for the worst.
And what did the doctor think when these numbers were going like this?
He's like, hey, I don't know. I think we may have to, up the chemo. And of course, I hear that. I'm thinking, I'm going back on the CellQuest.
Did you tell him what you were doing finally?
I told him at the very beginning. I showed him the product. I gave him some information on the product, and he told me basically, I can't tell you yes or no when it comes to this. I could only tell you that chemo's the way to go. So it's up to you to make the decision whether you want to use this or not. He says, he read it, he says it's an all-natural product. I don't see how it can harm you. So if you feel as if it's going to help you, go ahead and do it. So I did. And then, I started messing with him with the CellQuest, coming off of it, going back on, and my,
that
it was almost
told
like,
him something.
Right. And then towards the end, the funny part was, he's like, which we had great news, like, you're totally in the clear. My family was present, and he's like, the chemotherapy did a great job, and then my mom's there. She's like, yeah, also the 300 bottles of CellQuest he took, because that's what I did. It's about a year long, the chemotherapy, and even if you're in the clear, you have to continue to take your chemotherapy. So I continued taking my CellQuest. So a total about 300 bottles.
Yeah. So how long have you been completely rid of chemo? Because I know you still take the CellQuest.
Yeah, I still take the CellQuest. I take 4 ounces a day, just as a precaution, preventative, just in case, keep my immune high.
How did you feel with the chemo? Because a lot of people lose their hair, lose their appetite. They're very, very tired.
I experienced all of the above. I started to lose my hair. Extremely tired. It wears on you. at a certain point, because I chose not to have a port, because I heard of infections and stuff that may occur. So I decided just to, every time they would put the IV in straight into the vein, and what it did was it hardened my veins to where it felt like glass. I mean, it was, towards the end, they couldn't find a vein that worked, you know, and then finally it was like under my arm, I have this one real big vein. They're like, oh, we're going to start using that one. But yeah, it does harm the body. But with the CellQuest, it helped me with my appetite. I experienced hair loss, so I just went ahead and shaved my head. But
yeah, you guys can get away with it.
Yeah, I experienced hair growth. I want to say within a couple months, started to regenerate hair.
From taking the CellQuest.
Yes, yes.
At that point, at least that's what you believe, yeah.
Correct. And I was working out the whole nine. At a certain point, towards the end of my sessions, I was real fit, big, strong guy, and they're like, "Are you here to visit somebody?" Yeah.
While you were taking the chemo?
Oh yeah, I was working out.
I had another one like that. Deborah Ray's husband, and the audience is very, very familiar with her. Some of the symptoms that maybe people should be just a little bit aware of. My daddy passed away way too early with cancer. He's only 68. Personally, I think they killed him with cobalt. They don't even do that. Have you ever heard of cobalt?
No.
No. Yeah. They don't do that anymore. But I do remember talking about the night sweats. If people are experiencing that and weight loss and all, should they maybe go for a checkup immediately?
Definitely. Don't hesitate, because I prolonged it way too long, and that's why it was so advanced. I actually hid it from my mother, thinking, you know, oh, I'm okay.
Oh, you can't hit.
Yeah, and it got to a point where she recognized the weight loss. She says, "Listen, I don't know what's going on. We need to head to the hospital." So I'm glad she forced me to go, because it could have been too late.
Now, if I go over your story a little bit, you're starting the chemo and all that, and the CellQuest, but eventually the CellQuest brought you to a place where the chemo didn't ravage you as much as it does some people.
Correct.
Some people, you can look at them and it's heartbreaking.
Yeah, it's extreme. Like I said, it's extremely hard on you. It does good and it does bad. It basically eradicates whatever's in its way. So that's good, bad, and anything else.
I've heard that it's like a weed killer. You hope it kills the bad ones.
Right, but it catches some of the grass. Yeah,
kills
right.
all the good ones along the way. And if you just tuned in, I'm talking to Jesse Alfonso, and we're talking about the CellQuest product, which if you have watched the program with any regularity, you know that we have offered it for a long time. Jesse's testimony has really inspired a lot of people, and that's why I've aired the program several times, and I wanted to bring him back for a refresher. And so let me tell you again that we have the 3 bottles that we offer for $39.95. The information is on your screen. If you use a credit card or debit card, that's 1-800-229-0059 is the number for that kind of a transaction. Or you can write to us and just send a check to Homekeepers, and we will get the 3 bottles out to you. And Jesse, I want to revisit, in case someone tuned in late, that when you were in the throes of this, the seriousness of the disease and chemo, you took 1 bottle a day.
1 bottle a day.
16-ounce bottle. And now that you're past that, your numbers are really good.
Right.
You maintain, and maybe for the rest of your life, 4 ounces a day. 4
ounces a day. Because I know, well, with anything, like let's say, for example, I'm big into working out and running and doing these obstacle races.
Tell.
And yeah,
you look good.
I'm feeling great. What happens is if you overtrain, you can also lower your immune. So this just keeps my immune balanced, you know. So I haven't had any issues with the flu, thank God. My immune's been strong. A cold tried to catch me, but can't do it. Can't do it. So
that's wonderful.
Yeah.
You know, I look at your story and I think how God has looked out for you. To think that you had a brother-in-law or somebody who had heard about this.
Right.
I mean,
yeah, it's amazing.
What's the chances of that happening?
Yeah, it's amazing how God works, and I'm extremely thankful because I'm here for my daughter, and my daughter's 7 years old now. So I get to see her grow, and she's like the love of my life. She's my princess. So she makes me feel amazing.
Yeah. And she needs her daddy too.
Yeah,
so,
definitely.
God was looking out for her as well. And see, I can hear what my viewers want me to ask you. What do you do now?
Now since I played minor league baseball.
He played professional baseball, for instance.
With the Yuma Scorpions, and then now I work with kids, which I love doing it. Anywhere between the ages of 8, and I have some minor league guys, some college guys, high school, and I get to pass down the knowledge that I gained from being, in that atmosphere among professionals onto them at a very young age. So hopefully, it gives them a one-up in the game.
Well, it's wonderful, and I'm so thrilled to have this update, because it is a very dramatic story that a product like this, that's just taken from nature and all, could have such a profound effect on someone, which, from all the medical records, was quite advanced.
Right.
And so, just glad to have you back, and glad.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah, glad to see you again. And I just want to remind the viewers that we have offered this product for a long time. We've had guests on here with very wonderful testimonies, and I'm aware of people who have testimonies that are great, but they don't want to come on TV. And so I can't make them come on TV. But the way I found out about the product many years ago, when my daughter was diagnosed with breast cancer, and I immediately, after I got out of my fetal position, weeping and crying and wailing, I immediately started looking for help. And one of the first persons I talked to was Deborah Ray. And I asked her about a product that I'd read about that was in Russia, which I couldn't afford at all. And she said, I know one that's just as good. And she said, it's CellQuest. And that opened the door for me to learn a lot and to meet Dr. Norton, who is a scientist, chemist, and also to just open up avenues to help my daughter, but not just her. So many other people I've been glad to tell about this product, and the good people behind it, honest people. It's been a joy to work with them. So this is just one more testimony for you to consider, and we've had that information on the screen, and so I hope you'll take advantage of it, and I hope you'll join me next time. Remembering, there's no higher calling than that of a homekeeper. God bless you.
If you should miss a Homekeepers program, you can catch up by going to www.ctnonline.com. Click on CTN Programs and then on Homekeepers.